So we got a prediction in a showdown between Gervonta, Tank Davis, and Frank the Ghost Martin. Highly anticipated, long awaited. So let's get into a prediction of who will win this fight. Guys, so we got Gervonta Tank Davis, the tail of the tape. He's okay, let me pull it up here. 29 wins, no losses, no draws, 27 wins by way of knockout. Tank is 29 years old, 5'5" in height, with a 67.5-inch arm reach. Tank Davis with a 93% knockout ratio, one of the heaviest, hardest punches in boxing. All around good fighter, explosive, has a good chin, good defense, twitch reflexes, good footwork, can outbox, can pressure you, good ring IQ, good counter punching skills. Tank Davis is the goods, man, for what we can see. But like I said, we need to see him in the ring with some real quality comp. Straight up. Frank Martin's a good test, in my opinion. So let's get into Frank Martin. Frank Martin, 18 wins, no losses, no draws, 12 wins by knockout, has a 66% knockout ratio. So, Frank Martin's not the biggest puncher, but he got some decent, respectable power, all right? He's also 29 years old. He stands at 5'8" in height with a 68-inch arm reach. So, Tank Davis' 2 inches shorter, but Frank Martin, their reach is about the same, 68 inches. So they have almost the same lift arms. So they're not that much, Frank's not that much bigger than him. He's a few inches taller. So, they right up there with each other when it comes to the dimensions, man. Frank Martin, very patient fighter. Good body work he has. Decent footwork. He seems to have a very good ring IQ as well. I think he has an underestimated ring IQ. He hasn't really been boxing as long as Tank, but for the amount of time he's been boxing, I think he's shown a very good ring IQ, pretty decent ring IQ. I like I love his lefts, the lefts that he throws, left hooks. He's mean in that ring when he wanted to be. He can turn it on and off. I guess that's why they call him the Ghost, because he has something about him. It's always like a mysteriousness to Frank Martin. I can't explain it, man. I like Frank Martin. I just I felt a little ways about him when it came to the Shakur stuff and all of that, but I'll give him his credit. Very good fighter for what he is, man. This is a good fight, man. Let's look at the last 3 opponents, man. So let's look at Tank's last 3 fights. As I've stated before, last 3 fights: Ryan Garcia, Hector Luis Garcia, and Rolando Romero. All right, all 3 resulted in knockouts. Most of them happened after a lot of Tank fights. A lot of them. Most of his knockouts come a little bit later. Most of them. Early on in his career, when he was fighting almost like nobodies, he was getting really early knockouts. But most of the time, his average, he gets his knockouts past his 6th round, because a lot of times Tank, he's looking for that perfect punch. He's not really a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter when he want to be a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter with people he knows he can pressure that really can't hurt him, stuff like that. Because you go back and watch the Rolly fight and the Ryan Garcia fight, he didn't really put the pressure on him like that, because they had that equalizer. So Tank is a little bit more cautious when it comes to power punches. Doesn't mean you scared. It just means you more cautious. He didn't really do a Shakur with these dudes. He just was like, all right, I gotta approach them a little different, because they can put my lights out just as well as I can put their lights out. You feel me? So that's called boxing IQ. But Tank his last 3 fights. The Ryan Garcia fight, he was a little bit more aggressive in that fight than he was against like Rolly. That told me, I think, to me, that told me that he thought Rolly hit harder. He had to tell us, that was telling us Rolly hit harder than Ryan Garcia in a sense, man. That's probably what I got from that. But he was more aggressive. He was able to stop Ryan to the body. He dropped Ryan early on in the fight, in the second round, and he also knocked him out in the 7th to the body, which was ironic because Ryan Garcia also stopped people to the body. Same left hook. It's crazy. You know, I was like a left karma hook. Yeah, karma coming from Tank. Tank gave him his karma right back to the body. That's crazy. But then the Hector Garcia fight was before that. Almost like a tune-up fight with Tank. Tank washed him, knocked his vision silly. That wasn't even competitive. I mean, he did good, but his power, he's punching Tank, and it wasn't affecting him, man. He just didn't have the power. He was too small. But he hung it in with Tank, had a hit Tank with some good shots, some good counters, but nothing that ever hurt Tank. And it was the inevitable. As that fight went on, he was going to end up knocking him out, and they stopped it. Then the Rolly fight back in 2022. He showed more of his boxing skill in that fight. He wasn't as aggressive. He was more of some counter in that fight, and that's how the fight ultimately ended. A 6-round knockout. Rolly got too careless, too greedy, too defensively irresponsible, and he paid for it and got knocked out. The ropes held him up pretty much, and Tank was the victor. And out of those 3 fights, I think the Ryan Garcia fight, Tank looked the best in that fight because he showed more skill, more different sides to his game. I think it was the Ryan Garcia fight. Frank Martin, his last 3 fights. Last fight was against that Artem, I can never pronounce the last name, Haru Tiyadian. Dude did good in that fight, though. The Artem dude, moving around. He's one of those dudes that can spoil the party, one of those kind of fighters that'll make you look bad because he can move around a lot and stuff like that. But he took a knee in the 12th round because Frank poured it on him in that round. He turned it all the way up, but he didn't get the knockout, so that fight went to the cards with Frank Martin getting the win. He didn't look as sharp in that fight, but he did his thing in the fight. He was getting caught with some shots against that dude, too. It always looked like one of them shots from Artem had hurt him to the body. I'm not sure what round it was, but that dude, Artem, is not really a big puncher. Let me see how much power that dude has, Artem, if I can remember. Yeah, he's a 58%, decent power. 12 wins, 7 knockouts. You know, 58% KO ratio. You know, it is what it is. Decent pop. Then he fought Michel Rivera to a 12th round decision. Put on a great boxing class against Michel Rivera. Knocked him down in the 7th round. Frank Martin did really good in that fight. I expected Michel. I think I had predicted Michel to win, but you know, Frank Martin surprised me. Straight schooled Michel Rivera. It was a very good fight for Frank Martin. Then the Jackson Marinez fight, Frank Martin did good in that fight too. Ended up knocking him out in the 10th round. Knocked him down twice in that fight. Showed a great performance as well. So out of these 3 fights, to me, he put on the master class with Michel Rivera. That was his best fight out of these 3 fights here. So Tank got 3 knockouts in his last 3 fights. Frank Martin got 1 and 2 unanimous decisions. Tank looked good in all 3 of his fights. Frank Martin looked a little shaky in one of these fights. All right, now, if these 2 got in the ring, what it would look like. These 2 also have experience in the ring. Frank Martin has sparred Tank, and I'm hearing 2 different things. I'm hearing Tank hurt Frank Martin in the sparring, and I'm also hearing Frank Martin hurt Tank. So, you know, like I said, man, I wish sparring videos would be able to be shown, bro. I would love to see these sparring sessions, man. Damn. But ultimately, fight would be a chess match because I think Tank understands, Frank Martin. While he's not the most vicious puncher, he got that. He got that thought. He's been in the ring with him, so he know what to expect. So I think, like I said, it'll be more of Tank will probably be boxing a little bit more in this fight until he figure he can hurt Frank Martin at some point in that fight. Then Tank will probably pour it on him and start pressuring him. I see it. Frank Martin is vulnerable to a lot of body shots. I see him. He was hit. Michelle caught him a few times with some body work. Artem definitely hit him with some good body shots. It's gonna be a chess match, man. And Frank Martin got good IQ. He's gonna be catching Tank a lot in that fight as well. Good counter skills too. You gonna definitely see this gonna be tit for tat. A lot of counter punching in that fight. I think ultimately though, I think this fight also isn't a knockout. I think Tank was gonna knock Frank Martin out late to the body. I see that happening. Maybe just like almost like the fight with Ryan Garcia, but I see that fight ending a little bit later because Frank Martin's a more skilled fighter than Ryan Garcia. I see maybe a 10th round knockout for Tank against to the body. Then he gonna touch him up to the body on the from the 8th and on, and then Frank ultimately gonna get hit with something that he can't take, and I think he gonna take a knee, and they gonna stop the fight in the 10th round. So it's gonna be a banging ass fight up until Tank hit him with a body shot, like the ultimate body shot that he chops him down within like 8 to 10 rounds. But I do see Frank Martin piecing up Tank Davis early on for like maybe 5-6 rounds, piecing him up, doing good. But like I said, Tank gonna catch up to him, start figuring him out, and I think, like I said, rounds 8, he gonna see more openings to the body. He gonna start tagging up a lot of the body, hitting Frank Martin to the body a lot more. And he gonna be slowing down. He gonna be able to evade the punches no more. And I think ultimately he gonna get stopped in the 10th round by one of Tank's body shots. So my prediction for this fight is Gervonta Tank Davis by 10th round stoppage of Frank Martin. Let me know what y'all think. This is Rebel Like Boxing. Drop a comment, talk to me, and I'll catch y'all later.